Hello everybody, welcome to my final review of the year. Everything else, as I've mentioned, is just going to be discussions and reflections of the year. So, what a year has been. We've had a lot of good stuff, a lot of weak stuff, and we've had some pretty decent stuff. I think the variety we've had has been quite interesting. To say the least. There's been bands that I never knew I'd enjoy as much until I heard their record. There's been bands that I've been intrigued for, and I found their records to be kind of lackluster. You kind of get a little bit of everything, and that's fine. I've been looking forward to this wrapping all these up and just getting everything out of the way, just to kind of relax for a bit before January, where I start anew, where we bring back the reviews. 2024, it's going to be awesome, especially with January apparently having two big albums, arguably the Bring Me the Horizon Post-Human Next Gen, I believe, comes out in Jan unless it gets delayed again, and the new Green Day one. So there's already a bunch that I'm going to talk about when I come back with reviews. But yeah, we're going to end up with the last album I'm going to review this year, Atreyu's The Beautiful Dark of Life. So Atreyu is a popular metalcore band that has just been pushing out this sound, and some people label them as the kind of some of the founders of the genre, but I don't really know. I don't really view them as like gods of the genre or some of the best the genre has to offer. Like, Atreyu's got a good sound, but modern Atreyu isn't necessarily that good in my opinion. I wasn't really big on the 2021 Baptize album. I thought that one just kind of sounded a little jarring. I didn't really enjoy the ideas they had going into it, and with the EPs we've had for this, not really my cup of tea either, and putting them all together, it just kind of feels like a jumbled mess. When you go into just the bigger tracks, Drowning, to be fair, I will give benefit of the doubt, is kind of the stuff I wish we had a little bit more of on this album. But then you go into tracks like Insomnia, Capital F, God, Devil, and I just start noticing how weak this gets. The writing on this album is pretty weak. Lyrically, it just feels like it's been kind of thrown on there through Chat GPT, AI shit, I don't know, that's just a assumption. I've seen people say that, and you know, I completely agree, because I felt something was off with the lyrics on this record. But the fact they've been doing this EPs throughout the year and then just kind of combining it all towards the end, it can work. Some bands have done that, but this didn't, in my opinion. Honestly, I prefer Baptize, because Baptize kind of flows into each other and feels more like an album. This feels more like a collection of Atreyu songs, and since a bunch of them kind of wanted to do something different, it didn't really work out as much. I appreciate Atreyu bringing the heavy back. We got some more breakdowns, some more uncleans, but at the same time, you just get some of the most bare-bone, mainstream sounding stuff the band has released in the last however so years. This is not good in my opinion. This is the kind of stuff that Alaska and Alexandria kind of in, like two bands that had some pretty good ideas and had some sort of a legacy, but completely now just going for the most basic structure of their songs. You remember Octane Core? I feel like Atreyu fits that perfectly, because there's just so much that just feels uninspired. It just kind of feels like the stuff you'd hear on radio, just like the radio hard rock is pretty much how I describe this record, especially Capital F and God Devil. This album is not good, and it's such a shame the last album of the year is pretty bad. This is honestly one of the worst albums I've heard, and and I even got the worst albums of the year video done, so I'm gonna have to retweak it just so I can put this on there. It's interesting how my very first review this year of Maneskin Rush is a bad review, or basically it's a review that I think honestly is a bad album, and I think this is a bad album. We kind of just sandwich that. In between the sandwich of just terrible, we have some really good content. But yeah, this is not really worth the wait. I think, with considering you had most of it arrived, I feel like if you didn't enjoy what you had then, there's not really any reason you'd enjoy the final tracks on this record. I'm going to give this a 1.5 out of 5. I just found nothing really enticing, and even if there is some good ideas, they're just it's either you're gonna get like so far down the track list just to get to it, and that's not really it for me. Especially since Drowning is probably the best thing this album has to offer, and I don't really care for that one that much. But that's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoy. Last review of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.